2,000 years ago, a Jewish historian named Josephus witnessed the fall of his people and wrote the story of how it all happened. This is War of the Jews, Book 1, Chapter 27. Herod had made his decision, but he wanted it to look like justice, so he staged a trial at Berytus. Under Roman authority, a court was assembled. Governors, officials, allies, not in Judea, not in Jerusalem, but far away, where the outcome could be controlled. And most importantly, his sons were not present. They were kept in custody. They could not speak, they could not defend themselves. Herod stood alone before the court and accused them as if they were there. But even now, something had changed. The central charge, the supposed assassination plot, was weak, unproven, so Herod shifted. He focused instead on disrespect, insults, disobedience, on the unbearable humiliation of being a king whose sons mocked him. No treason, no betrayal, and that was enough. One by one, the judges gave their verdicts. Some hesitated, some refused to demand death, but others, out of fear, loyalty, or ambition, condemned the princes. Not because they were guilty, but because Herod wanted them guilty. Across Judea and Syria, people waited. No one believed Herod would go through with it. No one thought a king would execute his own sons. They were wrong. Herod took them away, not to Jerusalem, not to trial, to Sebaste, and there Alexander and Aristobulus were strangled, quietly, efficiently, no public spectacle, no defense, no last appeal, just death. And with them, the Hasmonean bloodline, the last real threat to Herod's legitimacy, was effectively broken. But the victory came at a cost, because now everyone understood something clearly. If a king can kill his own sons, no one is safe. Next time, chapter 28, Antipater stands alone as the heir, but the hatred he created begins to close in on him.